let's say that there's a loving father, and I'm going to come back to the temptation of Christ and finish that up. But let's say there's a loving father, and this loving father, father wants to have a son, and he's got 100 acres of land, and he wants to delight in the land with his son. He wants to create amazing memories on the land with his son. He wants to go on the boat together. He wants to fish on the river together. He wants to eat the amazing fruit that comes from the farm and just create great memories. Now, what if one day, let's say the son's 10 years old, he's by the river, and some people come on a boat with guns and they steal the son. They kidnap the son. And then they sell the son into slavery. Now, as sad as this already is, slavery is considered normal. It's considered a legal thing that you can do. So, this slave master that the son was sold to now has legal ownership of this son. He's really a son, but now he's a slave. And he's lived there majority of his life now. Now let's say he's a man. And the punishment that comes upon him for not completing his daily duty is he gets beaten. All the slaves get beaten if they do not do their daily duty, which is laying 500 bricks. Okay, so now the son is really a son that was meant to live on the farm with the loving father. But now he's on this farm and is tasked to lay 500 bricks per day, or else he won't be blessed. Or not even blessed, or else he won't be punished. Okay, now I want to ask you this question. What would sin be in the eyes of the slave master? Sin in the eyes of the slave master would be, he's not laying 500 bricks today. Therefore, he needs to be punished. What would sin be in the eyes of the son? The son would be believing the same thing. He's been there his whole life. He doesn't know any better. But what would sin be in the eyes of the loving father? Sin in the eyes of the loving father would be the fact that he's in this entire system of slavery is sin. This isn't right. He must be delivered or divorced, which is another word for forgiven. He must be divorced from that entire system. Okay? Forgiveness in the eyes of the slave master and son would be somebody came and forgave his debt of 500 bricks. Now, what if some innocent person came and took all of the punishment that was supposed to be on this son, now slave, for him? He took all of his beatings for him. How do you think the heart of the son would feel? He would be ridden with guilt and shame because he would say, this person took my punishment and it wasn't due to him. And we have been taught demonic doctrines that say that that innocent person that has come to take in that punishment is Christ. We have been taught that the slave master is the Father God. When the loving Father's over here, this is all of the Father's frustration that he had in all of the Old Testament, trying to prove to us, trying to prove to his people that, listen, you are the family of God, and we couldn't see it. So God had to create a body under that system of death and slavery, die that system of death of slavery away, which is Christ, and then raise that body up again in human form. Okay, Jesus is a glorified human body. Then he took that glorified human body and he put it in the Trinity, representing all of mankind forever, so that we can see we are part of the family, in the Godhead, in the Trinity forever. God had to do all this so that we can look upon it, look at the facts that were presented, be persuaded of it, so that it can be born in us.